Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this easy sweater. It has a scoop neck, it's worked in the round, top down. So let's get started. So this pattern is going to be worked top down. So the first thing I'm going to do is work a foundation chain that's going to be the top of the sweater. So with this measuring tape, I'm measuring here. Would be a size small. And so if I place the measuring tape around the neck, that's 28 inches. So 28 inches or 71 centimeters. And you could also just use a shirt that fits and get your measurement that way. So that's 14 inches, which would be 28. So this would be about a size medium. And for plus size, I bought this at the thrift store so I would have something to measure against. Your foundation chain will be between 30 and 32 inches long. And that's about 80 centimeters. So I'm going to use this shirt, and I'm going to show you how this goes together. And I'm working with worsted weight yarn and a 6mm crochet hook. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. And I'm going to work my foundation chain for my scoop neck. So work your foundation chain with chain stitches. And to work a chain stitch, you simply pick up the yarn and pull it through the stitch that's on the hook. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've worked my foundation chain, and I'm going to place it over my shirt here to check and see if that's a good size for my neck. If I wanted to have a lower scoop, then I would add more stitches. This design is going to have a scoop both in the front and in the back. If you wanted a scoop only in the front, that would be a totally different pattern because it would involve dividing your initial foundation chain differently. So I've gone ahead and I have chained 68, and this chain should be able to be divided by 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slip stitch to join, and I want to be careful not to twist the chain. So to do that, I usually just hold it between my fingers and I pass it through, and then I just keep checking, making sure that the smooth section is at the top. And usually you can feel that if the bump switches from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slip stitch to join in my first stitch. So that's going to be my top of my neck, like that. Okay, so I have my chain of 68, and now I'm going to have to divide this by 4. So that means 4 into 68 is 17. So every 17th stitch, I'm going to place a marker. Okay, so I have marked every 17th stitch. And I don't have to mark this one because that's where I'm going to start with my first V-stitch. And that's going to form the raglan sleeves. So for my first V-stitch, I'm going to chain 3. In that same stitch, I'm going to work a double crochet. For a double crochet yarn around the hook, insert into the stitch, pick up the yarn and pull it through, pick up the yarn, pull it through 2 stitches, pick up the yarn, pull it through the remaining 2. So that's my first V-stitch, and I'm going to make a V-stitch at every one of these marks. So I'm going to make 1 double crochet in each stitch right up to the next marked stitch. So double crochet in each of the stitches up to the marked stitch. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work up to my next marked stitch. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each of the stitches until I reach this stitch, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, I worked right up to my marked stitch. So in this stitch, I'm going to work a V-stitch, which is 1 double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Okay, so that's our mark for our raglan sleeves. Now I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each of the stitches right up to the next marked stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, I've gone ahead and worked that second section, and I've reached my marked stitch. So in that marked stitch, I'm going to work a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work across the remainder of the chain, and it'll be the same thing, double crochet in each stitch up to the marked stitch, and then make a V-stitch, and then double crochet all the way up to here. So I'm going to go off camera and do that, and then I'll show you what to do when you get to the end of this row. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've worked all the way around, and my V-stitches are in my marked stitches. Now I no longer need the marks. And there's my last double crochet, and there's that first V-stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch to join in the second stitch of that first turning chain of chain 3. So slip stitch to join in that stitch. So now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to work a V-stitch in the chain 1 space of that V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Like that. So you have a V-stitch in the V-stitch. And you're going to do that every row, and that's going to establish that raglan sleeve detail. So now I'm going to work a double crochet in every one of these stitches, including the first stitch of the V. So I'm going to go ahead off camera, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each one of these stitches, and then I'll show you what to do when we get to a V. So I'm going to make a double crochet in that stitch of the V, and then I'm going to make a double crochet in each one of the stitches. So I'm going to go off camera and do that. Okay, I worked all the way over, and there's my V, and I already worked a double crochet in the first double crochet of that V, and now I'm going to make a V in the chain 1 space. So double, chain 1, and double. Like that. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around. And again, I'm starting in the double crochet of the V, and I'm working a double crochet in every one of those stitches, including the first double crochet of the V, and then I'll work my V-stitch in the chain 1 space. So I'm going to go off camera, and I'm going to work all the way around, and then I'll come back again and show you how we join at the end of the row. Okay, I worked all the way around. There's my last double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch to join in the second stitch. This is how it's going to fold, and that's going to form your scoop neck. And there's how that looks. And so I'm going to keep working the same row, repeat the same row over and over until I reach about to here on this shirt. And then I'm going to add an underarm extension when I reach here. So that looks like I have to work about 7 inches. 7 inches, or between 17 and 18. And then I'll show you how to work the body. It will again just be a repeat of the same row of double crochets all the way around. So for every row it's going to be exactly the same, but you're going to be working a different stitch to begin. So I'm going to chain 2, and that will count as the first double crochet, and then I will double crochet into the first double crochet of the V-stitch, and then I'll make my V-stitch in the V-stitch. So double, chain 1, and double. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work all the way around, making 1 double crochet in every double crochet and a V-stitch in every V-stitch. So I'll go ahead and work as many rows as I need to get to the underarm extension. And that will be right here under the arm. And as you can see in this one, I worked my last row here in a contrasting color. I worked 4 rows in my black color and then 1 row in the gray. And at the very bottom here, I alternated with a regular double crochet and a front post double crochet, and that gave that row a bit of a difference from here. So you can see that little bit of difference in the way the stitches look. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've worked another row, and there's my last double crochet, and there's my first chain 2. I'm going to slip stitch to join. So as you can see now, I'm going to work into 3 double crochets before I get to my V-stitch. And that's going to happen at every row. You're always going to have 1 extra stitch with each row. So here I'll chain 2, and I will work a double crochet here, and a double crochet here, and then my V-stitch in the V-stitch. Like that. Place this again to show you, like that, and I'm going to go ahead and work until I get to about here. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've worked as many rows as I need to get to approximately here. So I've still got another couple of inches. I actually had to work 9 rows. There's my last double crochet right there, and I'm going to slip stitch to join in the second stitch of that turning chain. And when you do that, really tighten that up like that, and then where you join won't look so different from the rest. Okay, so to do my extension, I need to work it in my V-stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch until I get here. So I'm going to slip stitch right up to the V-stitch. Okay, so there I have slip stitched all the way over to my V-stitch, and in that V-stitch I'm going to chain 2. And now I'm going to make my extension, my underarm extension. I'm going to chain 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And that's going to be my underarm extension, like that. So now I'm going to skip all these stitches, and I'm going to go directly to the next V-stitch over here. So skip all those stitches, that's going to be the armhole, and come over to that next V-stitch and work a double crochet. Like that. So that will be the armhole. You've skipped all of those stitches. And then I'm going to double crochet in each of the stitches all the way across. So there's the underarm extension, and I'm going to double crochet all the way across to here. And when I get to the V-stitch, I'm going to make 1 double crochet in that V-stitch, and then I'm going to chain 14 again, then work all the way back across. And when I reach back over here to this other first underarm extension, I'm going to slip stitch to join in the second stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, there's my first underarm extension. I'll double crochet it all the way across. And I made my last double crochet in the center of that V-stitch, and I chained 14. So now I'm going to go directly across to the other side, and I'm going to work a double crochet in that V-stitch. And then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to double crochet all the way across this row, and then I will slip stitch to join in the second stitch of that first chain 16, because the first 2 stitches took the place of a double crochet. Okay, I worked across the row, and this is where I worked those slip stitches. So they're going to be a little bit tighter to work in. So you can loosen them up a little bit with your hook so that you can work under both of those loops. Okay, so I've worked in all of the stitches, and in this underarm extension, I'm going to slip stitch into the second stitch of the chain. And that forms these underarm extensions. And now it will be just double crochet in each of the stitches. So to get started, chain 2, and that counts as the first double crochet, and then double crochet in each of these chain stitches for the underarm extension. Like that. All the way across there, and then all the way across the back, all the way here, and then all the way back, and then slip stitch to join in the top of that chain 2. And that's going to start the body. So I'll do one row, and then I'll come back and show you. And after that, it's just a repeat of the row, same row over and over until your sweater is as long as you would like it. Okay, I worked all the way across that row. And there's my underarm extensions. If you want to check to make sure that it's going to be the right chest measurement, you could do that in the row where you add your extension. So now I can measure this like that. And that's 18 inches, so this will fit 36-inch chest or 98 centimeters. So 36-inch or 98 centimeters. So if you needed larger than that, you would have added more to your underarm extension. And now every row is going to be the same. It's just going to be chain 2, double crochet in each of the stitches all the way across the row. So chain 2, double crochet in each of the stitches all the way across the row. Repeat this row over and over until your sweater is the length that you would like. You could make cropped length, waist length, or longer. Like that. And so work all the way around and then slip stitch to join in the top of the chain 2. Keep doing that until your sweater is the length that you would like, and that can be anywhere from a cropped length, waist length, or long. If you wanted to make a little dress, you could just continue to add rows and rows until you have the dress length that you would like. Okay, I've worked a few rows of double crochet in each stitch around. And now I'll show you how I do that last row along the bottom of alternating front post double crochet. Okay, to work that final row, you're going to double crochet in one stitch. In the next stitch, make a front post double crochet. So from the front, under the post, and then complete the double crochet. And you're going to do that all the way across the row. A regular double crochet, and then a front post double crochet. And a regular, and then a front post. So you're going to do that all the way around. And that's what that will look like. And we'll add this little band. So that's it. That's all you need to know to be able to work this scoop neck, top down, in the round sweater. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.